Hey guys, Hassan1, I'm back at it once again with a brand new video for you, and welcome to an episode I've lost count of. I do that a lot on my series, don't I? Of MotoGP 13, the online racer. Online racer? What am I doing? See, this is 1:50 in the morning as I'm recording this right now, so I'm not exactly completely alert, let's be honest. And because it's been a while since you last saw a MotoGP video of mine, here's the championship standings. We made good progress last time around and closed Scott Redding's championship lead down to 14 points. Dominique Agata and Mika Kallio still in the mix as well. Kalex leading the way over Suter in the Manufacturers' Championship. But yeah, two more races coming up. Next up, Brno. Heading over to the Czech Republic again, which is also kind of weird because I've been out and about this week. I've been really busy. It's kind of weird how I was talking about I was going to be trying to get one episode of each of my series at least per week going as well. But the 1 week I talk about it is the 1 week I was going on holiday. Well, it wasn't really a holiday. It was a day trip. I mentioned this in a couple of videos before. I went to Brussels in Belgium. I went for a tour of the European Parliament building. Quite a nice place, actually. Not gonna lie, the talk, we went down for a tour of the building, and then we had like a 1 hour sit down, talk about what the European Parliament actually does, how it's built up, and it's actually kind of boring. Like, I swear to God, I nearly dozed off 2 or 3 times. I'm not gonna lie. I know it sounds really awful for me to say after I've been there, but it was really boring, and I did actually pulled an all-nighter before the train because I had to leave the house at about 6 in the morning to make sure I got to King's Cross, St Pancras, for the Eurostar for 8, but I got there at 7:25. And it's also kind of weird how, like, St Pancras really is built for rich people now. Have you noticed that, any fellow Londoners? If you ever go down to a place like St Pancras, like the train station, they have all these rich shops around there in the area, like fancy restaurants, and like places where you can buy ties, you can buy books, you can buy like suits and stuff. You walk through this place, and I immediately felt like this place isn't for me. It's like walking through like the rich part of Westfield. It's ridiculous. But pulling an all-nighter for that wasn't recommended because I came home and I slept like a baby that night. Last night I actually slept at like 11 PM and I didn't get up again until like 12 in the afternoon the next day, like midday. So I got like 13 hours of sleep that day, and that's like never happened to me. People that know me well or follow me on Twitter know that I am a chronic insomniac that barely ever sleeps. Like, I think the crazy thing is, if I'm not at uni, I still tend to average maybe 7 or 8 hours of sleep a night. It's just I wake up really late. Like, the average day, if I'm not at uni, I'm getting up at like 12 in the afternoon. That's awful, because I feel like I've wasted half the day when I get up at that late. Like, back at school, I used to have an alarm. I was always up at 6:30 in the morning for primary school. I used to be a guy that I used to love waking up early, because when I wake up early, it felt like I was, maximizing my day. Because when you're busy, you feel like there's never enough hours in a day. So getting up at 12 just feels like a waste for me now. But I can't help it. I've really got to set a better alarm because iPhone alarms are terrible. But yeah, like, Belgium was fun though. The train was 3 hours. Like, the train ride, I slept like a baby on the way there, and I slept on the way back a little bit. But the thing is, because it was a day trip and because the Parliament tour took up so much time, there wasn't really enough time to experience it properly. And it didn't help at all that the train station where the Eurostar stops in Brussels apparently is like 1 train ride away from the city centre. So I was kind of dropped like in the middle of nowhere walking around the place. It was like, I feel like I'm in a ghost town. It felt really, really quiet. So it just kind of felt like, okay, nothing's going on here. And it just wasn't a particularly nice place to be. Kind of a shame, really. And the weather was awful that day as well. I think if I was there for a whole year, I think the weather would be better than ours, weather-wise. I may have just caught it on a bad day because it just wasn't nice down there at all. It was darker because of the clouds. It was just bleaker, and it was raining too. But Belgium's train station in the Eurostar place, really nice buildings. Like, really nice shops down there. The food was brilliant. Love the food. Also, people that also know me don't know me well enough. I'm a massive foodie, and they had a friggin' Häagen-Dazs cafe down there, and I was like, the gods have been kind. Like, I was like, okay, before I leave Belgium, I am going in here. And they had an ice cream sundae there, and I had like a massive Belgian waffle with whipped cream and caramel, and all that for less than €10. Bargain. Because I'm a proper foodie, I was like, this is just like heaven to me, and the hot dogs were nice too. Come on, lads, out of the way. But yeah, overall, I would have liked to have spent maybe a weekend there. I'm not sure about a whole week, like a proper holiday. But overall, I enjoyed it. It was a good experience. I said I just wish I had a bit more time. That's all. I wanted to check it out, but I just didn't have the time. Look, that's Reading down in 5th. Well, that's great for the championship. Just stay there, Scotty. That'd be great news for us. But yeah, the reason I was on trip was I didn't do it out of pleasure. I did it because I had to. It was part of my degree. For those guys that don't know, I'm studying broadcast journalism in university, and basically, whoa, a bit wide there. But basically, one of my modules for my degree this year is news and current affairs. So basically, the good thing about that module is that while it's boring as hell to learn about news and things like that, and you learn about how basically a lot of it is about how government works, like local government, and now it's been expanded to more of like the the European government basically, and we've actually got a lot of free trips out of the whole thing. Like I went to London Mayor's Question Time the other week. That was quite a fun experience actually, because Boris Johnson, while he is like most other politicians, and that is a blumbering idiot, he is actually pretty entertaining. Johnson's actually quite funny, and he's actually quite witty for a politician, which you know, despite the fact he's quite clearly awful, and then one of those elite Tories and whatnot, he is actually quite entertaining, and he's actually quite quick-witted. There is something going on there, like guys that go to Eton aren't dumbasses, and for good reason. It's just a bit stupid. That's all. But even a stupid guy comes out with some funny lines once in a while, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, that was decent. I got to see the Royal Albert Hall, which is actually surprising, because I've lived in London 21 years, my entire life, and I've never actually seen the Royal Albert Hall in the flesh. So I guess that was quite the experience as well, actually, walking past that. But, also going to visit the Houses of Parliament, I think, next week as well. That should be quite good. Again, I'm not really into it for the politics, but like I said, it has had some pretty fun experiences. So I've got to give my module guy some credit for being a bit more practical when it comes to learning about these things, because on paper it's not that exciting, and I think even he would admit that. I don't think news and current affairs should be an entire module of my course, in my humble opinion. Wow, you can brake much later for this first corner. Wow, didn't even realise that. I'm cutting out this corner a lot faster as well. But yeah, my degree is, like I said, broadcast journalism. I'm actually the third student, so I've actually already done kind of like 5 years of uni, as Reading and Rabat is duking it out now. Let me in, boys. You want to. But the back wheel going up there. But learning about things like, basically, a lot of people have asked me about this, like, what does my degree involve? And it basically involves just about every major facet of media it pretty much covers. Like, ooh, coming on the inside of Reading here. Not quite. That's the wrong line for that corner. Massively wrong line. But yeah, I said it basically covers everything you need to get ahead in either broadcasting and/or media, and just media in general. First year, I was doing digital video production. I was doing, I'm doing just basically learning the principles of journalism. learning about writing for journalism and, you know, podcasting, you know, radio, things like that, where I basically got a lot of experience and basically just covering every major base of what broadcasting is all about, you know. So I'd like to think if I was on my CV right now, I could say I was quite versatile in a lot of the digital arts. Like, I've done broadcasting, I've done pitches to actual, you know, TV consultants, you know, I've done podcasting, I've done radio things before, you know, I've ticked just about every major box, and I'm actually I think it's quite cool that I've actually done that. Final lap now, got to push. So yeah, up to 4th. I would like a podium. That would be quite nice. Good for the championship. Just got to finish ahead of Reading, really. God, Reading was stupidly late on the brakes on that one. Ran wide, quite rightly so. Came out at chicane quite nicely. Got a nice run on a Spagaro here. Got him, and maybe my teammate Nakagami in a minute. As late as I dare. But yeah, now I'm building on that now in year 2. I'm doing magazine journalism now, you know, news and current affairs. And what's the other module I'm doing now? It's not good, I can't remember. Industry experience, and actually I actually got myself a workplace. I'm going to be working for Zone 1 Radio, I think, next month in December, which actually seems quite fun. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'm also think I'm doing a bit more actual radio again in the second module in February. So, you know, it kind of goes with my experience doing things like Around the Corner and, you know, hosting shows and things like that. It's just nice that I'm able to use that experience in real life. Because I actually feel a lot more confident now I'm doing that. As my Skype goes off, that's quite annoying. That I'm actually able to, you know, do all these things and, you know, be more experienced. And just able to, you know, apply what I'm learning to what I'm doing in real life, and that's obviously doing YouTube, and, you know, it's really helped me out in the long run. So I'm going to come around in a second here by the looks of things. It's actually a pretty decent result because Callio's won, which is, you know, minimal damage to the championship, and I finished ahead of Scott Redding, which I think he's going to come in 5th, I think, which is actually good for the title. Also a quick look at the league standings in a minute. So Callio gets the win. I come in 2nd. Redding in 6th. Must have made another error somewhere then. That's, I think, there you go. Championship's now down to just 4 points. And now Callio's in range. He's just 14 behind. So, 3 Cadexes, 1, 2, and 3. That's going to be interesting. Level 55, I've unlocked Cal Crutchlow. Yay. I need him for my top 5 I'm doing, I think, later in this series. I want to talk about my top 5 riders of MotoGP World of 2013. I'm doing a lot of special videos in this month, just, you know, to wrap up the seasons in the 2 sports I cover. So look out for those soon. MotoGP and Formula 1. The Harry Awards is coming back very soon. I think I'm going to group them together this time instead of doing individual videos each time, because I think that was a bit spammy and I don't like doing that. I want to focus most of all on quality rather than quantity. I'll have to wait and see. I'm not sure how I feel about that yet. So yeah, you know, I've always said it. People have always told me, people have actually asked me before, like school-wise, you know, Dre, you know, what do you study? What should I study? What should I do? What should I take? And I've always told people this, and this is my advice as we head towards round number 12 now, and Silverstone, this should be fun. I've always said this: study what you're passionate about, rather than what you're really good at. Because I don't know if I've mentioned this story before, but I was doing my A-levels when I was like 18 years old, obviously, like most people. I don't know what the European or American equivalent is, but I was 18 doing my final exams for A-level before I moved to university, or as the Americans would say, college. And it didn't go particularly well. I ended up with like an A in business, but then I got like a C in ICT. And that was all I had, because the other things were used. Like in Britain, in school, once you get the only compulsory education you get is until you're 16 years old. So you basically go all the way till year 11. You do your GCSEs, which is what everybody takes. That's the national standard for exams in this country. Anything beyond that, you don't have to do. And I chose to stay on at school after I was 16 and chose to do A-levels. You pick 4 subjects. I chose business studies, maths, chemistry, and ICT. You take those 4, those are your 4 AS levels. You take those, you get your grades for them, and then you drop 1 and you do 3 for your second year of sixth form or college. And that tends to be the 3 A-level grades you end up with. You can stay on and do 4, but it's not recommended. It's for the uber smart, so to speak. So I did maths, chemistry, business studies, and basically I did as well maths, chemistry, business, and ICT. The problem was, you've probably already worked out one of those doesn't really fit the others, and that was chemistry. And I was awful at chemistry. The problem was I didn't do triple science when I was in GCSE. Like, I didn't split the science up. I did combined science. I didn't take science full time. So going from that to doing chemistry at A-level standard was such a stupid thing to do. I didn't even realise that. They probably shouldn't have had an option there, like you can't take chemistry if you're doing triple science. So I did combined, and combined is all 3 sciences, but it's really watered down. I was only doing 3 hours of science a week, when you probably should, in essence, be doing... You should be doing 9 if you're doing triple science, so 3 hours for each science. So 3 hours for chemistry, 3 hours for physics, 3 hours for, what's the other one? Biology. There you go. I was only doing effectively 1 hour of each, and it wasn't even the proper stuff. It was just condensed and watered down. So to jump to that, to doing chemistry, wasn't a good idea, and I still regret that to this day. And then I also took maths, and I only got a B at GCS level maths, and my maths teacher immediately told me, basically, if you got a B at GCSE, you're probably going to be in for a fight. And I, being, 17-year-old arrogant Dre, I'm thinking, he doesn't know what he's talking about. I'll be fine. I'll ace this because I'm Andre, super maths genius, and I was so wrong. I struggled with maths and struggled with chemistry, and I got like U's for the 2 exams of those papers. So basically, I was gonna drop maths, but I told my chemistry teachers, look, I'm sorry. I might as well drop out now because I'm not going to get anything other than a U at this exam. I'm awful at chemistry. I made a mistake taking this grade, and basically I thought there's no point me even continuing. My gym teacher was so nice though. She was so understanding. Such a nice girl. But yeah, basically I dropped those, so I was going to get U's, which is the lowest grade available for those 2 subjects anyway. And then I got a D and an E in my 2 actual A-levels I kept doing. That was business studies and ICT. My uni had a rule where you could only continue on to your final year if you got 2 D's or better. I got a D and an E. So I thought, shit, I was done. I thought I was gone. That was the end of me. College it is, so I've got to, pay for everything and, try and keep my uni dream alive. Because I dreamed of going to uni. I thought uni was the shit when I was growing up. I thought, I've got to get to uni. And it turns out, uni isn't really all it's cracked up to be honest. But that's for another video. I might talk about this more in future if you guys want to hear about it, I suppose. Because I've got quite a few stories to tell with university as well. But it was my head of year, Mr. Kent. I still remember to this day, who was, such a brilliant guy towards me. If you were ever on Mr. Kent's good side, he would bat for you till the end of the earth. He's a guy you'd want on your side. Like, Mr. Kent was a brilliant mind, and he really did care about us teenagers and making, and giving us the best possible path of our future. And I respected him so much. He was such a top guy as well. I mean, could take the piss out of himself, was really funny. And basically, he saw my grades and he knew immediately that I failed, and he seemed really disappointed in me because I think he knew that I knew I'd let myself down. And I was in the room on the brink of tears thinking, this is awful, this is over. And I so wanted to stay on because I knew good people, and the bullying I had in school had just come to an end. I was just making a name for myself on YouTube, and I was actually enjoying school for the first time in 7 years. And you know, that's when he said to me, Dre, I know you've not done well, but you've done so much for this school, because, you know, I was a school council rep for 5 years. I, you know, was a very well-behaved student, had done a lot of charity work for the school, had, you know, done a lot of extracurricular work, you know, was always a good kid, you know, would forget my homework now and again, but for the most part, a lot of teachers liked me, and, you know, a lot of people were batting for me, so he said, basically, drop the 2 ones you haven't done well at, we'll retake the D and the E, and I'll see you in year 13. So, basically, Mr. Kent gave me a chance he wasn't even allowed to give me. Because by the strict rules of the school, I should have been kicked out. I should have failed, and that was the end of it. But he gave me a lifeline, and I felt awful because I knew 2 of my friends who I was really close to in my sixth form at the time. Didn't get that opportunity. Like, they had the exact same grades as me, and they got kicked out, and I felt really awful. One half of me felt really awful, but the other half of me felt like, you know what, I've been given a chance, I've got to take it. And I did, and it turns out it worked out quite nicely, because as I said, now if it wasn't for that chance, I don't know where I'd be right now in terms of my stuff. And, you know, I retook my exams, I worked hard, and I turned that D and an E into an A and a C, and I'm really proud of myself for being able to do that, given the extra workload I had to do, and, you know, the struggle, because that was a hard second year. I had to really bend over backwards, because I was doing my current 2 previous A-levels, and as well as the retaking stuff, I had to relearn the other stuff as well, because basically in year 12 I did what a lot of year 12 kids do, and that's take it lightly and then fuck up afterwards, basically, pardon my language. But that jump between, you know, year 11, where it's so strict, and, you know, you're guarded at, you know, every lock and key, and every moment you're surveyed and analysed. In sixth form, it's much more hands-off. You know, teachers don't bat for you as much. It's much more freestyle. You don't wear your school uniform. You get 3 periods where you're expected to study, but nobody ever did. I think it was kind of because I was the guy that was always going to Dixie Chicken with my friend Nargan and just buying 99p steak burgers all day, and just eating myself. I was like 18 stone at one point. I was turning into a bit of a fat boy at the time, and, you know, I was that guy that would just go home early and, you know, not study, and, you know, not go to the library. I was that guy, rather than the guy I probably should have been, which you know, was working hard and, you know, proving to myself that I deserved to be there. And you know what? I'm kind of proud of myself for looking back on that and realizing what I could have been and what I am now. And you know, I've still got a lot of work to do. You know, I've still got some lazy habits in there. I've still got things I need to work on, and things I need to improve as a person. But compared to where I am then and what I am now, I think I made a lot of progress. And I just hope that one day I can keep improving. You know, not just for myself, but my family, and, you know, my friends, and just try and be the best person that I can be, and the best YouTuber that I can be as well, because I love doing this so much. And, you know, it's those experiences that make you the person you are today. And I've always said it, a person will always learn more from his mistakes than, you know, than from his successes. Because sometimes you got to lose, and sometimes you got to lose before you find out how bad you really want to win in life. And, you know, I'm still only 21 years old. I've still got my whole life ahead of me, God willing. Maybe. Hopefully. Whoa. I've still got my whole life ahead of me. And, you know, who knows what will happen in the future. But for now, I'm happy with where things are in my life. And, you know, I hope things will continue to get better. Whoa, as I bang into Nakagami there. But, yeah, I ended up talking for that nearly the entire video about my old education. I actually did a Dre Talks video about my education, funnily enough, because a lot of people have asked me about that in the past. Whoops, a bit off the road there. Oh, Nakagami looking on the inside. Don't want any of that. It doesn't look like I'm going to actually win this, so I'm guessing second's now the aim here. God, Nakagami looking at the top. But yeah, just holding on to that second place now. I didn't think I'd be talking for over 25 minutes, or nearly 25 minutes about all of that, but turns out I did. My bad. But I hope you guys enjoyed that little talk, I suppose. You know, it's nice to look back sometimes. Sometimes it's not great to look back, but you know, there's nothing you can do about your past, but it can certainly make you learn about the future, in my opinion, anyway. If you got any funny school stories out there, feel free to share them. I'd love to hear them. I love hearing about you guys. I love getting to know the people that watch me. I've made so many friends through YouTube. It's not even funny, and you know. I know I'm not the most liked or respected guy in the community. I know I've alienated a lot of people in the past because of the things I've done. Because I've been more vocal than the average guy, and I've taken a stand against certain things, and you know, I've done things that have pissed a lot of people off, and I understand that. It's a consequence of what I do and the kind of person that I am. That you know, if you need to say these things, or if you need to go out of your way to say, to say certain things or to make a stand or things like that, but I think all in all it's worked out for the best. But yeah, you know, around these last two corners, whoa! I don't know what happened there. Oh yeah, I get it now. I jumped the anti-cut and my bike was actually 3 feet in the air. That's just me being lazy, that is, right there. That's lazy cornering, Dre. Gonna pass on the way out there. But yeah, it's gonna be second place again. Back-to-back seconds. Sorry I couldn't win my own home Grand Prix. That's kind of bad of me. But when I'm talking, when I'm deeply talking like that, sometimes I'm just not concentrating at my best, and you know, I get a little bit distracted. And I haven't played this game in a little while, so because I'm rotating games so much, I can never stay truly sharp for one thing or another. But I think that's a solid second place in the end there. Nakagami third. Again, Redding down in 6th. This championship is getting interesting. And look, I'm the new championship leader. I'm 6 points ahead of Scott Redding. Calio now 22 back. Agata 29 back. And Nespagaro 33. So it's still 1 of 5 to win this title by the looks of things. And yeah, the Pons Cadex team gets the win, so they get the 25 for the constructors. So they're still third. But yeah, I think that is just about that. So in the meantime, I've been Harrison101. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I don't normally do passionate talks at 2:20 in the morning, but hey, what do I know? And yeah, just thank you very much for watching. Sayonara, guys.
Today is a great result for both him and his team, and above all, it shows great promise for the upcoming races.